Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever had that nagging feeling that your skills might be getting a little outdated? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful strategy to not just survive, but actually thrive in a world that's changing faster than ever. It's called skill stacking.
Okay, let's just dive right in. And we have to start with a bit of a reality check because the ground is literally shifting under our feet in the job market. The old comfortable rules for how you build a career, yeah, they're pretty much broken. So this is the big question, isn't it? Is your career future-proof? It seems simple, but the answer is getting more and more complicated. Think about it. Are the skills that got you your job today the same ones that are going to carry you forward for the next 5, 10 years? Let's see what the data says. Now, that number you're looking at, that is not a typo. The World Economic Forum estimates that a staggering 1.1 billion jobs are going to be radically transformed by technology in just the next decade. And notice the word there, transformed, not eliminated. This means the actual skills you need to do those jobs are about to change a lot. And all this change leads to something researchers are now calling talent stagnation. You know that feeling of being stuck, where your career growth just kind of stalls? That's it. It's what happens when the skills that used to be your superpower become outdated faster than you can learn new ones. And this chart just shows you how crazy fast this is happening. 40 years ago, a core professional skill would stay relevant for about 10 years. Pretty good. Today, its half-life is down to just 4 years. And that line is only getting shorter. The big takeaway here is that your expertise, well, it now comes with an expiration date. Okay, so if our skills are expiring, the obvious answer is just more training, right? Get the company to teach us new stuff. Well, this is where things get really interesting because the data shows this massive disconnect between what everyone needs and what's actually happening inside most companies. So, companies absolutely know that upskilling their people is a huge priority. But when HR professionals were asked to rate their own company's learning programs, only 21% rated them as high quality. That means more than 3/4 of companies are delivering training that's just average or worse. And here's the paradox from the other side, the employee's side. Look at this. An incredible 92% of people want to develop new skills. They're hungry for it. But less than a third are happy with their company's learning culture or actually given time to learn. So the will is there, but the support system just isn't. So what's holding everyone back? It's not a lack of desire. The biggest hurdles are the practical, everyday things. There's just not enough time, there's not enough money, and there's not enough real, meaningful support from the people in charge. And the gap between the companies that really get this right, the L&D leaders, and everyone else, it's huge. Just look, employees at those leading companies are almost 4 times more likely to be satisfied with the learning culture. And that satisfaction, well, it translates directly into better performance for the whole business. So, if the old corporate training model isn't keeping up, what's the answer? Well, it requires a whole new mindset. One where we, you and I, start taking control of our own development. The responsibility is basically shifting from the company to you. This means we have to let go of this old idea of mastering just one single thing. Becoming the world's best at X. That was a great strategy when the world was predictable. But in today's market, being a super specialist can actually become a trap. It's having broader skills that really opens up new doors. And this brings us to the big idea, skill stacking. Here's the strategy. You don't aim to be in the top 1% at one thing. Instead, you get pretty good, say top 20%, at 2, 3, maybe 4 different things. It's the unique combination of those skills that makes you incredibly rare and valuable. A perfect example is Scott Adams, the guy who created Dilbert. He's the first to admit he's not the best artist in the world, he's not the funniest person alive, but his stack, pretty good drawing, a deep understanding of corporate life, and a wicked sense of humor. That combination created something totally unique and massively successful. The magic is in the mix. Okay, so this sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you put this into practice? Let's get into the actual toolkit for building your very own skill stack. So you have to be strategic about this. It's not random. When you're starting your career, you focus on one core skill that gets you in the door. But then you immediately start layering on skills that are next to it. Think of a coder who learns about good design, or a writer who learns about digital marketing. They instantly become way more valuable. The key, though, is to avoid what's called the dabbler's trap. You have to build each new skill until it's actually useful before you move on to the next. And look, Adding a new layer to your stack doesn't have to take years. Check out this example. That's not computer code. It's a simple little instruction, a microprompt for an AI. The skill here isn't programming. It's knowing how to ask a smart question to an AI to get expert-level advice in literally seconds. That's a huge force multiplier for every other skill you have. And you can see this demand for skill stacks playing out across entire industries. A recent report on the biotech sector in Asia Pacific showed this huge demand for what they called T-shaped professionals. That means people who have deep knowledge in one scientific area, that's the vertical part of the T, but who also have a broad understanding of other fields like data science or business development. That's the horizontal top of the T. It's just another name for skill stacking. And the smartest companies out there, they're leaning right into this. They're ditching the one-size-fits-all training programs for personalized learning paths. They're making learning a part of the daily job, not something you do for a week once a year. They're basically trying to build an entire workforce of skill stackers. So, the whole point of this is to turn this idea into action for yourself. This isn't just some interesting theory to think about. It's a real, practical blueprint you can use to navigate your career for the next decade and beyond.
In a world where any one skill, no matter how valuable today, can become obsolete tomorrow, your unique combination of skills is your ultimate career insurance. The most resilient, the most adaptable, and the most successful people are going to be the ones with a really thoughtful skill stack.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Take a minute, be honest with yourself. What skills are in your stack right now? And maybe even more important, what's the next layer you're going to add? Your future career might just depend on that answer.